Hello, my name is Byron Cernan, and this is my wife Michelle, and we serve on the board for the Denton County Homeschool Association. We want to do a video for you for all those who have found themselves doing learning at home. And so we're going to go through in just a few minutes some questions and hopefully provide some encouragement to you and offer some guidance and some tips as you are in the season of at-home learning.
We are homeschoolers, and we acknowledge that our homeschooling does not have the same difficulties, the same struggles that you might be facing at home with your at-home learning. But we do have some tips, some encouragement, and some background in our own homeschooling and doing homeschooling for long as we have that might be able to help you. And so that's where our heart is in this, is just coming alongside you and trying to give some practical tips that might help your day go smoother.
Yeah, so what we're going to do is I'm just going to ask some questions. It's more of a Q&A style and some discussion. And so, Michelle, tell a little bit about your background before we started homeschooling our kids, and share with the audience about, again, just how your journey from going from public school to homeschooling.
Sure. Okay. Well, I was public schooled all 12 years of my elementary through high school. And then I went from there into being a public school teacher, and I taught at the public school and in the public school system for 5 years, 3 years as an elementary school teacher in the classroom, and then 2 years up in high school. And so I have a little bit of a background in public school education in my university, getting a degree in education. So I have a little bit to say concerning that. And then I stayed home with our kids as babies and thought I would send them on to public school. But as my kiddos got bigger and were starting to learn at home as preschoolers, it just seemed to flow into going into a homeschool setting. And we've been homeschooling now for 10 years. Our oldest is a freshman in high school.
So as these parents who this is a new journey for them with their students being at home, can you share a little bit about what the environment looks like for at-home learning?
Yes, that's a big thing. I want to encourage you that your learning at home, your teaching at home, and what your kids are doing at home does not have to look like what they're experiencing in public school. You don't have to recreate a public school classroom at your house. Let it be, let it kind of reflect your family. You don't have to get up at 7 o'clock in the morning or 6 o'clock in the morning and start school at 7:30 or 8 o'clock. It's going to be a lot more relaxed, a lot less structured than what they're used to.
So with that, we know that with at-home learning, a lot of public school teachers, and we have some very dear friends several friends who are public school teachers, and they're still offering classes through Zoom or through some other virtual classroom setting. And so while that's wonderful, that's an opportunity to continue to receive learning and instruction there. But what can students do to stay active at home when they're not doing their classroom work?
Yes, so as it's not structured like a classroom, like a public school room, you're not going to have that kind of structure. You do need some structure. Instead of having times, we're going to get up at 6 o'clock and we're going to start school at 7, and we're going to do math from 7 to 8 o'clock, or a very structured time setting. Do routines so they know they're going to wake up in the morning, get ready for the day, maybe do some chores, and then move into their math. You give them the structure of the day, what comes next, without actually putting a time, a very structured time on what they're doing. And that being said, public school takes a lot more time than at-home learning. So if they're done after 2 or 3 hours of schooling during the day, that's okay, which means that they're going to have a lot of free time. And in that free time, they need to be working on some things that they want to do, some student-led learning type things. Let them pursue interests. There are tons of resources out there on YouTube. YouTube's a great source for finding music lessons or dance lessons or juggling lessons, something fun. You can do a family book time. Grab a book that the kids would like. There's lots of reading lists. Read Aloud Revival is a great place to find some book recommendations for the family, and then sit around as a family and read a couple of chapters out loud with some tea or coffee or popsicles. Make it fun, and it gives them something to focus on other than the coronavirus and grocery shortages and craziness of the world. Some other things they can do, there's chess.com where they can do virtual chess. There's art lessons online. There's so many resources. It's really great that we have the internet now and all of the resources available there.
I know you mentioned a few non-screen activities. Can you expand a little bit more on what students can do or what parents can do to stay active at home and maybe not necessarily be in front of a screen?
Yeah, do board games. And get outside, jump on the trampoline, take bike rides, take walks, hikes. We've been doing baseball at home, just small baseball, set up little bases at your house. The stuff that you would do on the weekend, put it on the weekdays now.
So a lot of things that you talked about, there's a lot of FaceTime with family members who, you're not used to spending a lot of time with. And so this has been a great opportunity to bond with families. But, it's also an opportunity where if there's personality differences, there could be some conflict with that. And so what can you say or offer in way of some tips or some advice to manage the now a lot of face-to-face time with family members?
Yes, I think there's a perception that homeschoolers just automatically get along well with each other all the time, and it's so not true. We also have sibling rivalry and ongoing fights and squibbles at home. And so one thing I can suggest that works really well for our family, because we do get tired of being around each other all the time. And I can't even imagine you guys that have been outside of the house for 8 hours every day and are now under one roof all the time. You need to set aside some quiet time, some alone time. And so what we do is from 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock or so every day, because it's not real structured. Sometimes it's 1:30 to 2:30, whatever. It's 1 hour every day that everybody has to spend in separate rooms. And I encourage my kids to read for at least half the time. So they're supposed to read silently for 30 minutes. And then with the other 30 minutes, they can just do something quietly in their room. They can build with their Legos or color on coloring pages, whatever it is, in their room by themselves without any other siblings around. And we as parents, even homeschool parents, yes, we need that time where the kids are not asking us for things. My kids are not even allowed to come out and ask me for anything, for a snack or anything. They have to stay in their room. We need that.
Unless it's an emergency, right?
That's right.
Unless the house is burning down.
Yeah. If there's blood or other bodily liquids, they can come get me. But other than that, they need to stay in their rooms.
Yeah, sometimes absence does make the heart grow fonder, right? The opportunities previously, several weeks ago, we could, have an opportunity to miss each other while we're at work or at school. Really that opportunity is very limited now. And so sometimes, having that time to step away is good, just to have a somewhat of a break. So that's good. Well, our last question really here is, Michelle has said that homeschooling is not for everyone. What are your thoughts on that statement?
Well, homeschooling may not be for everyone. And what I mean by that is homeschooling may not work for your family. You may have two parents that have to work full-time outside of the home, and there's not a way for one parent to devote the time needed for homeschooling, and I get that. But just because it doesn't work for every family doesn't mean that not everybody can homeschool, because everybody is qualified to teach their children. There are so many resources. You can find outsourcing help when you need it, that everybody can efficiently and can be proficient at homeschooling. I think that ability is for every parent. So if you need help homeschooling, there are so many of us that have done this for years that are so willing to help in whatever way we can. Like we said, we acknowledge that it's different than what we do at home because you have assignments to juggle, you've got Zoom meetings to juggle, and we don't have that. But whatever way we can help for you to be successful at homeschooling, we will do that. And we are very, we believe that everybody can do this.
Well, we hope that this was encouraging to you, and hopefully, you can walk away from this short video feeling a little bit more encouraged and assured that yes, you can do this. Again, as Michelle said, please let us know how we can help you in any way, and we pray for you guys. We pray for all those who are in this very different world that we're in. Even homeschoolers are having to pivot, right, in how we do homeschooling, because there's many things that we do even outside the home to help provide a well-rounded schooling experience for homeschoolers. And so we're having to adjust as well. And so we're right there alongside you, and we want to, again, encourage and support you in this new journey of at homeschooling.